it's me, Liv, and I'm here for my 7-week bump date. I wanted to start with sort of my physical symptoms, and then we'll talk about sort of the mental, emotional side of things. Physically, and sorry, my laundry is going upstairs, so you might hear that in the background. Physically, I feel pretty good overall. I know I mentioned in my last bump day video at 6 weeks that I had that really sharp pain in sort of my pelvis hip area. That lasted for about a day to 2 days, and then it was gone. And if I was going to throw out a guess as to what it was, I forgot to ask at my OB appointment. I would probably venture to say that it was a cyst, just because it kind of came and went, and based on sort of what I had read, it sounded most in line with that, because it was quite painful, it was sharp, and it doesn't feel like any of the other kind of like stretching or cramps that I've been experiencing. Obviously, I haven't had it since, nothing really to worry about. It's kind of in the past, and our OB appointment showed everything was going well, so it is what it is. But since then, the cramping in general has sort of like kind of subsided slightly. Like I still have some cramping here and there, but very, very mild. I feel super bloated. My pants, I've been wearing a lot of sweatpants and a lot of leggings just because the thought of wearing normal pants is just like, it just feels so uncomfortable. I'd rather have something like loose around my midsection. I have finally found that my breasts are a little bit more tender. Everything seems to be this like very, very gradual increase for me. I don't feel like anything's kind of like popped up overnight. It's just been like very, very slowly. So you almost don't even notice that it's getting worse. And then, when I think back to like a couple weeks ago where I wasn't feeling really anything, I'm like, well, yeah, I know compared to then, but it's been so gradual that you don't really kind of notice it on a day-to-day. And then otherwise, like nausea or like this general feeling of unwell, it kind of comes and goes. The last couple days, I've been feeling nauseous in the morning if I don't eat right away. So that's something that I've been making sure to do, is to get up and eat. I had one day, maybe it was like 2 or 3 days ago now, where I was taking my morning injection because we're an IVF couple. We're on all these medications through 10 to 12 weeks. So I am still taking every morning. I give myself an injection in my belly, sort of like on the sides, of enoxaparin, which is a blood thinner. And I was giving myself the injection just like normal. I was standing, and it's a nothing injection to me now, but I got really, really dizzy, really lightheaded, started feeling like I was gonna faint. So I had to sit down and put my head on the table, and then I felt like I was gonna throw up. Like I was just so like, it was a very unique experience because I've never felt that kind of intensity of feeling like I was gonna pass out. I had it once before when I was getting blood drawn, actually for our IVF. Like I think I had 12 vials of blood taken. So it was similar to that experience where I'm sure I was chalk white and everything, but I was by myself, which was a bit scary. And so I finally got enough energy to make it from my dining table to the living room and just lay flat out. And after about 30 seconds of laying flat, I started to feel a little bit better. So since that kind of thing, I've been making sure that I eat before I take my injection. I don't know if it was a low blood sugar thing or if it's just I'm more sensitive now that I'm pregnant. I don't know. So yeah, that was interesting. Otherwise, pretty normal. I have to say that I've been pretty fortunate thus far, knock on wood. Knock on wood. But yeah, because it's just been slowly getting worse and worse, I do anticipate that, it'll continue to kind of get a little bit more intense as the days go on and as we enter into sort of the 7th week and then next week into the 8th week, as baby develops and everything. I do definitely have spells where I'm really tired and I have to lay down and have a nap. So, there's things going on. It's just not quite as bad as I thought it would be at this point in time. So, feeling good for that on that end, and I'm feeling reassured enough that I am pregnant because I have a lot of those symptoms. They're just milder than I thought they might be, if that makes sense. Anyways, and then in terms of mental, emotional at this point in time, I'm feeling better and better and better. I know I've gotten a lot of comments of, encouragement and support. And I think the women who have gone through infertility or have dealt with miscarriage or struggled repeatedly throughout their kind of journey, I think those women can relate in terms of the anxieties and stresses that I'm feeling, and knowing that that's not maybe something that I can control and that's an inevitable. I'm part of a multiple different kind of support groups, and it's a common thread. I have friends who are 30 weeks pregnant and they're still walking on eggshells. It's just something that's part of this process for those of us who have struggled. And, it took us 5 years to conceive and to finally be at this point. It feels like this very valuable thing that is just, you're so fearful of it being taken from you. So it's a very natural thing to feel that way. And I think accepting that stress and anxiety is part of the process actually makes it easier on us. Whereas worrying about not stressing, or it's not good for the baby to be so stressed, you need to relax, that adds more pressure and that adds a sense of guilt to the person. So I'm doing my best, obviously. I do a lot of meditation, and for me, like, I write my affirmations book, all these positive thoughts, and those things are very helpful. So I find, specific things can be helpful in terms of relaxing, but, just saying relax is sort of kind of like, well, I'm trying here. But the good news is that I am, as time goes on, as I have more reassurance, as I do feel more pregnant, all of the things that give me the reassurance that I'm needing help to make me feel more relaxed and to sort of, fall into the process a little bit more readily. So that's good. I'm obviously still very nervous. We have our next ultrasound on the 23rd. I'm trying my best to hold out. I spoke with my fertility doctor and I asked, do you think that we should go for another scan based on the fact that it wasn't super high quality? And he said, given the fact that you saw the fetal pole, like, I wouldn't worry about it. Go for the 8-week, and baby should be big enough at that point. It should be fine. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I think it's important to try and have faith in my body right now and have faith in our baby and just enjoy this next kind of week or so and think positive thoughts rather than going and having another exam and then, wondering what this or this or this means. I'm far enough away from our last, exam or OB appointment, which was on the Wednesday. I'm far enough away from that now that, like, any kind of, like, questions I had have kind of, like, left, and I'm just kind of enjoying being pregnant. So I don't really want to, like, make another appointment and worry about that, like, have the stress of leading into that appointment and then, wondering, when we're sitting there in the office and all that. It's just, maybe it sounds ridiculous, but that just seems like more trouble than just waiting. So I'm gonna wait, and I feel good about that decision. And if something happens, obviously, like if I feel like cramping or if I have spotting or anything like that, obviously that would change our decision, and we would go get checked right away. But right now, everything seems to be going really well, and we're just going to continue having the positive mindset and wait for that appointment. So yeah. Otherwise, we've been focused on, like, house hunting and, trying to figure out budgeting. Like, we don't know how much we need on a monthly basis to have a kid. Like, there's diaper costs, and, you always have to factor in potentially for formula. Obviously I would prefer to breastfeed, but you don't always know what's going to happen. So I'm trying to think of, like, all the costs. Obviously, like, there's the major investment cost of having a kid, car seats and cribs and strollers and all the rest of it. But after that, on a month-to-month basis, when we're trying to budget out what we can afford, it's like, I don't really know, because we don't have it, we've never had a kid, and I don't know. So if you have, like, a monthly, like, cost calculation thing for having a kid, let me know. But yeah, so I think that's sort of it for now. We have another week to go. So our 8-week bump date will be right before our 8-week ultrasound, and we're just kind of in the wait right now. So not much going on, but we'll be sure to update you as things change and progress. Thanks so much for watching. I know this was sort of a short, sweet, not much to it video, but definitely didn't want to skip out on this bump date. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.